Wait, stop. Just hold your gaze here for a second, because what you're about to see isn't just 6 small 1-cent coins from the United States of America. These are 6 opportunities, 6 secrets, 6 stories that could change your life. Imagine this. These tiny copper coins shining in the palm of my hand, each one carrying the iconic face of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol known all around the world. They look ordinary, they feel simple, but hidden inside them is the kind of power that can turn someone rich overnight. Each coin carries its own story. One may hold a rare error, another a secret only true collectors understand. You might see coins like these every day, maybe even ignore them, but after today, you will never look at a United States 1-cent coin the same way again. Because if even one of these 6 coins is in your possession, your fate might be about to change. And before we go any further, welcome to the channel. If you love discovering rare and valuable coins, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and turn on notifications, because here, we bring you daily old coin videos that could reveal hidden treasures and life-changing values. Coin number 1. Imagine holding a small copper coin in your hand, something you might ignore, something you might even drop on the ground without caring. Now imagine that same coin having the power to transform your entire life overnight. Yes, we are talking about a 1991 1-cent coin from the United States of America, a coin that looks ordinary, feels ordinary, and yet in certain rare conditions and variations can become something extraordinary. Something collectors around the world are constantly searching for. Something that could potentially be worth far more than its face value. Now listen carefully, because not every 1991 penny is valuable, but the right one, the rare one, the unique one can turn into a hidden treasure, and that is where the real story begins. The year 1991 was not considered special. At first, millions of pennies were minted and circulated across the country. People used them daily without giving them a second thought, but over time, collectors started noticing something unusual. Certain coins from this year showed tiny differences, small minting errors, slight variations in design, and those tiny imperfections are exactly what make a coin rare and valuable today. The value of a coin is not just about its age, it is about rarity, condition, demand, and uniqueness. A 1991 penny in average condition might only be worth 1 cent, but a rare error version in perfect uncirculated condition could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars, and in extremely rare cases, when a coin has a major minting error or unique feature, its value can skyrocket into unbelievable numbers. Now imagine you have one sitting quietly in your pocket or hidden inside an old coin jar. That is the kind of possibility that excites collectors around the world. One of the most talked about features in valuable pennies is the mint mark. You may notice a small letter under the year, such as D or no letter at all. These indicate where the coin was made. And sometimes certain mint locations produce fewer coins, making them more desirable. Another important factor is errors. These can include double dies, where the design appears slightly duplicated, off-center strikes, where the coin design is not perfectly aligned, or even planchet errors, where the metal itself has flaws. These mistakes happen during the minting process, and instead of being destroyed, some coins enter circulation and become rare collectibles. The 1991 penny is known to have some minor varieties that collectors search for, especially those with sharp details, bright original color, and no signs of wear. Condition plays a huge role. A coin graded as mint state, meaning it looks almost brand new, can be worth significantly more than a worn-out coin, even if they were made in the same year. Now here is where things get even more interesting. The idea of a coin being worth millions is often connected to extreme rarity, historical importance, or unique errors. While most 1991 pennies will not reach that level, there is always the possibility that an undiscovered or extremely rare variation could exist, and that is what keeps the dream alive. Collectors are always hunting, always searching, always hoping to find that one coin that nobody else noticed. The excitement is real, the possibility is real, but it requires knowledge, patience, and a careful eye. And here is something even deeper. Many people already have jars full of old coins at home, coins collected over years, coins forgotten in drawers, coins passed down from parents or grandparents, and inside those collections there could be hidden gems, coins that were never examined closely, coins that may carry small details that turn them from ordinary into rare. Imagine opening an old box and finding a 1991 penny that looks different, brighter, sharper, cleaner than the rest. That moment of discovery, that feeling of uncertainty mixed with excitement, that is what drives collectors every single day. Now think about the journey of that coin from the moment it was minted to the moment it reached your hand. It passed through countless transactions, countless people, countless places, and yet it survived, maybe with a unique feature, maybe with an unnoticed error, maybe with a story no one has yet discovered. If you truly believe you have a special 1991 penny, the first step is to examine it closely. Look at the date, check the mint mark, inspect the surface for any unusual features, use a magnifying glass if needed, because the smallest detail can make the biggest difference. After that, it is Important to preserve the coin. Do not clean it, do not scratch it, because cleaning can actually reduce its value dramatically. Collectors prefer coins in their original untouched condition. If you think your coin might be valuable, the next step is to have it evaluated by a professional coin grading service. They can confirm its authenticity, determine its condition, and assign it a grade which directly affects its market value. Auctions are where rare coins truly reveal their worth. Collectors from around the world compete to own unique pieces, and prices can rise quickly when demand is high. Some coins that were once ignored have sold for astonishing amounts simply because the right buyer saw their value at the right moment. And here is another powerful truth: the market for rare coins is always changing. What may seem ordinary today could become desirable tomorrow as more collectors enter the hobby and demand increases. This is why patience matters. Holding onto a potentially rare coin could be more rewarding than rushing to sell it at a low price. Now imagine the emotional impact of discovering that a coin you once ignored is suddenly worth a significant amount of money. The disbelief, the excitement, the realization that something so small could carry such value. It changes the way you see not just coins but everyday objects around you, and this is why awareness is everything. The more you learn, the more you observe, the higher your chances of finding something truly special. The 1991 1-cent coin may not seem like much at first glance, but under the right circumstances, it can become something far more important, something worth holding on to, something worth investigating, and maybe, just maybe, something worth far more than you ever imagined. So the next time you see a penny, don't ignore it, don't spend it without a second thought. Take a closer look, because hidden within that tiny piece of copper could be a story, a mystery, and possibly a fortune waiting to be discovered. And who knows? The next life-changing discovery might already be in your hands, just waiting for you to notice it. Coin number 2. Wait, don't scroll, because what you're about to hear might completely change the way you look at a simple coin forever. Imagine holding a tiny 1994 1-cent coin from the United States of America. It feels ordinary, looks ordinary, and most people wouldn't think twice before spending it. But what if that same coin, under rare and unusual conditions, could be worth far more than its face value? So much more that collectors would fight to own it. The truth is, most 1994 1-cent coins are common. They were produced in huge numbers by the United States Mint, and billions of them entered circulation. But hidden among these everyday coins, there can be rare variations, tiny differences that only experts or serious collectors can spot. These are the coins that turn pocket change into something extraordinary. Now here's where things get interesting. The value of a coin is not just about its age. A 1994 coin is not ancient, but rarity doesn't always come from time. It comes from mistakes, limited production runs, or unusual features. Sometimes a coin is struck with an error, off-center designs, double stamping, or even the wrong metal composition. These mistakes are not flaws in the collector's world, they are treasures. Imagine discovering that your 1994 1-cent coin has a rare minting error. Something as small as a slight doubling in the lettering or a misaligned design could make collectors pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And in extremely rare cases, if the error is unique or nearly one of a kind, the price could rise dramatically depending on demand. Condition is another powerful factor. A coin that looks brand new, with sharp details and no scratches, is far more valuable than one that has been worn down over years of use. Collectors call this mint state, and even a common coin can become valuable if it is preserved perfectly. So that old coin sitting in a drawer might be worth more than you think, if it's in the right condition. There's also the importance of mint marks. In 1994, coins were produced in different locations like Philadelphia and Denver. Each mint can produce slightly different versions, and sometimes one mint's production becomes more desirable due to rarity or unique features. A small letter on the coin can change everything. Now let's talk about the dream, the idea that a coin could be worth millions. While it's extremely rare for a 1994 1-cent coin to reach that level, the world of coin collecting has seen surprising sales. Certain coins, due to extreme rarity, historical importance, or unique errors, have sold for astonishing prices. That's what keeps collectors searching, hoping to find the next hidden gem. The excitement comes from the unknown. Every time you look at a coin, you're not just seeing money, you're seeing a possibility. A possibility that this small piece of metal has a story, a mistake, or a uniqueness that no one else has noticed yet. That's what makes coin collecting feel like a treasure hunt. But here's the reality you need to understand clearly. Not every 1994 1-cent coin is valuable. In fact, most are only worth their face value. The idea of becoming a billionaire overnight from a single coin is extremely unlikely. However, rare coins can still bring significant value if they have the right characteristics. So what should you do if you find a 1994 1-cent coin? Don't rush to spend it. Take a closer look. Examine the details, the edges, the design. Compare it with known variations. Sometimes the smallest detail can make the biggest difference. If you truly believe your coin is special, the next step is to get it evaluated. Professional coin graders and collectors can identify whether your coin has any rare features. Their expertise can turn your curiosity into a confirmed discovery or help you understand its real value. Another important factor is patience. Rare coins don't always sell instantly. The right buyer, the right moment, and the right presentation can all influence the final price. Some collectors wait years before selling their most valuable pieces. The world of coin collecting is filled with stories. Stories of people finding rare coins in old jars, inherited collections, or even loose change. While not every story ends in millions, many end in surprising rewards. That's why the fascination never fades. So next time you see a simple 1-cent coin from 1994, don't ignore it. Look at it differently. Think about its journey, its potential, and the possibility, however small, that it could be more than just a coin. Because sometimes, the smallest things carry the biggest mysteries. And in the right hands, with the right knowledge, even a 1-cent coin can feel like a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Coin number 3. The 1995 1-cent coin belongs to the famous Lincoln Cent series, one of the longest-running coin designs in history. Produced by the United States Mint, these coins feature the legendary President Abraham Lincoln on the front. Millions upon millions were minted, flooding circulation and making them seem completely ordinary. But here's where things start to get interesting. Not all coins are created equal. In 1995, something unusual happened during the minting process. A small number of coins were struck with what collectors call a double die error. This means that the design was accidentally imprinted twice, slightly offset, creating a visible doubling effect, especially in the lettering. To the untrained eye, it might look like a minor flaw, but to a serious collector, it's a golden ticket. Now imagine spotting that doubling on your coin. The word Liberty appears slightly duplicated. The date, 1995, looks like it's been shadowed. Even the phrase "In God We Trust" may show signs of doubling. These are not just imperfections. They are rare mint errors, and in the world of coin collecting, errors can mean value, sometimes shocking, unbelievable value. But let's be clear. Not every 1995 penny is valuable. Most are still worth just 1 cent. The magic lies in the rare error versions. These coins were never meant to exist in this form, and that's exactly what makes them so desirable. Collectors are not just buying metal. They are buying mistakes, history, and rarity combined into one tiny object. Over the years, verified 1995 double-die pennies have sold for impressive amounts. In average condition, they might fetch a few $100s. But in pristine, uncirculated condition, coins that look almost brand new, the price can climb into thousands. And when a coin is graded at the highest levels, with perfect detail and shine, the value can skyrocket even further. Now here's where imagination takes over. What if there's an undiscovered 1995 penny out there, sitting quietly in someone's jar, drawer, or old wallet? What if that coin is in near-perfect condition, waiting to be recognized? The coin market thrives on discovery. Every year, new rare coins are found, and each one has the potential to rewrite someone's financial story overnight. The idea of a coin reaching millions of dollars may sound unbelievable, but history has shown that rare coins, especially those with unique errors or extremely low populations, can reach astonishing prices. The difference between a 1-cent coin and $1 million treasure often comes down to tiny details invisible to most people. That's why collectors carefully inspect every coin they come across. They use magnifying glasses, microscopes, and years of experience to identify subtle differences. A slight doubling, a misplaced letter, a tiny shift in design, these are the clues that separate ordinary coins from extraordinary ones. And here's the truth most people don't realize. Valuable coins don't always look special at first glance. They don't glow. They don't shine differently. They don't announce their value. They hide in plain sight, blending in with everyday money, waiting for someone observant enough to notice their secret. The 1995 penny is a perfect example of this hidden potential. It represents the idea that value is not always obvious. That something small, overlooked, and underestimated can hold incredible worth. And that sometimes, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just a matter of awareness. Now think about this. How many times have you handled coins without looking closely? How many times have you spent them without a second thought? What if one of those coins had something unusual, something rare, something valuable? The possibility alone is enough to make you look twice the next time you see a penny. But don't fall into the trap of believing every 1995 coin is a fortune. The truth is more grounded. Only specific error coins hold significant value, and even then, condition plays a huge role. A worn-out coin with damage may not be worth much, even if it has an error. But a well-preserved coin, that's where things get exciting. Coin grading is another crucial factor. Professional grading services examine coins and assign them a score based on condition. The higher the grade, the higher the value. A top-grade 1995 double-die penny can attract serious attention from collectors and investors alike. The thrill of coin collecting is not just about money, it's about discovery. It's about history. It's about the excitement of finding something rare where others saw nothing. And the 1995 penny captures that thrill perfectly. It reminds us that treasures don't always come in large, obvious forms. Sometimes, they fit in the palm of your hand. So the next time you come across a 1-cent coin, don't rush. Don't ignore it. Take a closer look. Examine the details. Check the letters. Study the date. Because hidden among the billions of ordinary coins, there could be one that stands apart, a coin that tells a different story. And who knows? Maybe that story leads to something extraordinary. Maybe it leads to a discovery that changes everything. Not overnight, not magically, but through awareness, patience, and a little bit of curiosity. Because sometimes, the smallest things in life carry the biggest surprises. Coin number 4. The 1996 1-cent coin carries the face of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of history, strength, and legacy. This design has been part of American coinage for decades, making it familiar to millions. But familiarity is exactly what makes hidden value so powerful. Because when something looks common, people ignore it. And that's where the rare treasures hide. Among millions of 1996 pennies, a few rare variations can quietly exist, waiting for the right person to recognize their true worth. Now here's the reality most people don't know. Not every 1996 penny is valuable. In fact, the majority are only worth face value. But the magic begins when we talk about rare mint errors, unique conditions, and perfect preservation. Coins produced by the United States Mint sometimes come out with tiny mistakes. Mistakes that collectors are willing to pay huge money for. A slight misprint, a double design, or an off-center strike can turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. One of the most exciting possibilities with a 1996 penny is the chance of a double die error. This is when the design appears slightly doubled due to a minting issue. To the naked eye, it may look like a shadow, but to a collector, it's a jackpot signal. Coins with this kind of error have been known to sell for thousands of dollars, and in extremely rare, high-grade cases, even more. The difference between a normal coin and a rare one can be so small, yet the value difference can be life-changing. Condition is everything in the coin world. A 1996 penny that has never been circulated, never scratched, and still shines like new is called mint state. These coins are graded by professionals, and the highest grades can push values higher and higher. A perfect or near-perfect coin becomes a collector's dream. It's not just about age, it's about survival. How did this coin stay untouched for so many years? That mystery adds to its appeal. There's also the factor of mint marks. A small letter under the year tells you where the coin was made: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Each location has its own production numbers, and sometimes one mint produces fewer coins than others. That scarcity can increase value. A rare combination of mint mark, condition, and error can turn a simple 1996 penny into something that collectors fiercely compete for. Now imagine this. Somewhere out there, someone unknowingly has a rare 1996 penny sitting in a jar, a drawer, or even lost between couch cushions. They might walk past it every day without realizing that it could hold serious value. This is what makes coin collecting so thrilling. Treasure isn't always buried underground. sometimes it's hiding in plain sight. Stories from the coin world prove this again and again. Ordinary people have discovered valuable coins in everyday places. A simple habit of checking your change can sometimes lead to incredible finds. The idea that a coin worth 1 cent could potentially be sold for hundreds, thousands, or even more. It almost feels unreal, but it's very much possible under the right circumstances. But here's where you need to be careful. The internet is full of exaggerated claims about coins being worth millions overnight. The truth is more grounded. While extremely rare coins can reach very high values, not every 1996 penny will make you rich. The key is knowledge. Understanding what makes a coin rare is what separates a lucky find from a missed opportunity. Collectors look for details that most people overlook. The sharpness of the design, the color of the metal, even the tiniest imperfections. Everything matters. A trained eye can spot value where others see nothing. That's why serious collectors spend years learning and studying coins. It's not just a hobby, it's a skill. Another fascinating aspect is how demand drives price. Even if a coin is rare, it needs interested buyers to reach high value. The coin market is like any other market. It moves based on interest, trends, and collector passion. When a particular coin becomes popular, its value can rise dramatically. Timing can play a huge role in how much a coin sells for. The 1996 penny also represents a moment in time. It was produced during a modern era, yet it still carries a classic design. This blend of history and modern production creates an interesting appeal. It's not ancient, but it's not brand new either. It sits in a space where collectors can still find hidden gems. If you think you might have a special coin, the best step is to have it examined by a professional. Coin grading services can confirm whether your coin has real value. They look at authenticity, condition, and any unique features. This process can turn a guess into a confirmed treasure. Holding onto a potentially valuable coin is important. Selling too quickly, especially without proper knowledge, can lead to regret. Some people have sold rare coins for very little, only to later discover their true worth. Patience and research can make all the difference. The idea that a single coin could change your fortune overnight is powerful, but it should also be approached with realistic expectations. Not every story ends in millions, but the possibility of finding something valuable is real. And sometimes, even a few $100 or $1,000 from a small coin can feel like a huge win. So next time you see a 1996 1-cent coin, don't ignore it. Look closer. Examine the details. Because hidden inside something so small could be a story, a mystery, and maybe, just maybe, a value far greater than 1 cent. Coin number 5. The 2002 D 1-cent coin, struck at the Denver Mint, is part of the legendary Lincoln cent series first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln. At first glance, it looks identical to millions of others, Lincoln's calm, thoughtful profile on the front, and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But collectors don't just see a design. They see layers of history, craftsmanship, and the possibility that something rare could be hiding in plain sight. Now here's where things begin to shift. Not every 2002 D penny is valuable. In fact, the vast majority are still worth exactly 1 cent. But coin collecting has never been about the obvious. It's about the unnoticed. It's about the overlooked. Because in this world, rarity doesn't always come from age. It comes from condition, from tiny imperfections, and from unique characteristics that separate one coin from millions of others. Picture this, a coin that looks like it has just left the mint. Its surface shines with a fresh, almost mirror-like glow. There are no scratches, no marks, no signs of wear from circulation. This is what collectors call mint state. And when a 2002 D penny reaches the highest levels, graded MS, 67 or even higher, it can suddenly step into a completely different category of value. It may not reach millions, but it can still command prices that feel unbelievable for something so small and so common at first glance. But the real magic, the real excitement, begins with mint errors. These are the rare moments when the coin-making process produces something unexpected. Maybe the coin is struck slightly off-center, leaving part of the design missing. Maybe there's doubling in the letters, where words appear slightly shadowed or repeated. Maybe the metal itself behaves differently, creating textures or marks that were never intended. To most people, these might look like flaws. But to collectors, these are signatures of rarity. Think about it carefully. Out of millions upon millions of coins produced with near-perfect precision, only a tiny fraction escape with these unique characteristics. And those few coins, those rare survivors of imperfection, become the ones that collectors chase. It's like searching through endless sand to find a single grain of gold. Difficult, time-consuming, but incredibly rewarding when it happens. Now let's be real for a moment. The idea that a 2002 penny could instantly make you a billionaire overnight is more fantasy than fact. Modern coins, even rare ones, usually don't reach into the edge. But that doesn't take away their importance. Value in coin collecting is built on a combination of rarity, condition, demand, and story, not exaggeration. And sometimes, even a few hundred or a few $1,000s from a single coin can feel like a remarkable discovery. Still, the thrill is what keeps collectors hooked. Every coin you pick up becomes a mystery. You start looking closer, noticing details you never cared about before. The curve of a letter, the sharpness of Lincoln's profile, the shine of the surface under light. Suddenly, something as simple as a penny becomes an object of curiosity and excitement. Grading plays a powerful role in this journey. Professional grading services examine coins under magnification, analyzing every tiny detail. A single point difference in grade, say from MS-65 to MS-67, can dramatically change the value. It's almost unbelievable how such a small shift in condition can lead to such a big jump in worth. That's the precision of the coin collecting world. And then there's the emotional side, the connection to history. Even though the 2002 penny is modern, it still carries the legacy of American coinage. It still bears the image of Lincoln, a figure recognized across the world. It still represents craftsmanship, consistency, and a tradition that has lasted for over a century. Holding that coin is like holding a tiny piece of a much larger story. Collectors often spend years building their knowledge. They train their eyes to spot differences that others miss instantly. What looks identical to one person might look completely different to an experienced collector. And that's where the true advantage lies, not just in having the coin, but in understanding it. So if you ever come across a 2002 penny, don't treat it like spare change. Slow down. Take a moment. Look at it under proper light. Tilt it. Examine the edges, the lettering, the surface. Compare it with other coins if you can. Because sometimes, the difference between ordinary and valuable is so small that it can only be seen by those who take the time to look. Even if your coin turns out to be completely normal, the experience changes you. You begin to see coins differently. You stop ignoring them. You start appreciating the details, the designs, the craftsmanship. Every coin becomes a small piece of art, a small piece of history, a small piece of a story that continues to move from one hand to another. And that's the real power of coin collecting. It's not just about money, it's about discovery. It's about curiosity. It's about the excitement of not knowing what you might find next. Because sometimes, the most valuable thing isn't the coin itself. It's the journey of searching for something extraordinary. In the end, the 2002 1-cent coin stands as a perfect reminder that even the smallest objects can hold hidden potential. It may not turn you into a billionaire overnight, but it can still surprise you in ways you never expected. And sometimes, that surprise, that possibility, is worth more than anything else. So the next time you see a penny, don't ignore it. Don't toss it aside. Pick it up. Hold it. Look at it closely. Because in that small copper-colored circle, there might be a secret waiting patiently, just for you to notice. Coin number 6. Imagine holding a tiny copper-colored piece of metal in your hand, a 2007 1-cent coin from the United States, and thinking it's nothing more than loose change. Something ordinary. Something forgettable. But what if that same coin, under the right conditions, could quietly carry a value far beyond its face? Something collectors would chase, something that could turn a simple moment into an unforgettable opportunity. The 2007 1-cent coin, often called a penny, features the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol recognized across the world. Billions of these coins were minted, which means most of them are only worth exactly 1 cent. But here's where the story begins to twist, because not all coins are created equal. Among the millions, a few rare variations, errors, and high-grade specimens exist that can command astonishing prices in the collector's market. Now let's be clear right from the start. There is no ordinary 2007 penny that will automatically make you a billionaire overnight. That idea sounds exciting, but reality works differently. However, there are specific conditions under which a 2007 1-cent coin can become extremely valuable, sometimes reaching hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And for a coin that most people ignore, that alone is enough to turn heads. One of the biggest factors that can increase the value of a 2007 penny is minting errors. These are mistakes that occur during the production process, tiny imperfections that most people overlook but collectors hunt for. Imagine a coin with a double image, where the text or Lincoln's face appears slightly duplicated. This is known as a double die error, and it can significantly raise the coin's value depending on how clear and rare the doubling is. Another fascinating possibility is off-center strikes. This happens when the coin is not perfectly aligned when it is struck, resulting in part of the design missing. The more dramatic the misalignment, while still keeping the date visible, the more valuable the coin becomes. A 2007 penny with a strong off-center strike could easily sell for far more than its face value, especially if it's in good condition. Then there are die cracks and cut errors, small raised lines or blobs of metal that appear due to damage in the minting equipment. While these might look like flaws to an untrained eye, collectors often see them as unique fingerprints of the coin's creation. Some of these errors are so rare that they transform a common penny into a highly sought-after collectible. Condition is another powerful factor. A 2007 penny that has never been used in circulation, what collectors call mint state, can be worth significantly more than one that has been worn down over time. Coins graded at the highest levels, with perfect surfaces and sharp details, are extremely rare. These top-grade coins can sometimes sell for hundreds of dollars simply because of their pristine condition. Now imagine combining both rarity and condition, a coin with a noticeable minting error that is also in near-perfect shape. That's where things start to get exciting. These kinds of coins are the ones that collectors compete for, driving prices higher and higher. While they may not reach millions, they can still bring in life-changing amounts for something that once sat unnoticed in a pocket. It's also important to understand the difference between hype and reality. You might hear dramatic claims online about pennies worth millions, but those cases are incredibly rare and usually involve unique historical errors or extremely limited production anomalies. The 2007 penny, while interesting, does not commonly fall into that category, but it still holds hidden potential for those who know what to look for. What makes coin collecting so thrilling is the element of discovery. Every coin you check is like opening a small mystery. Could this be the one with a rare error? Could this be a high-grade survivor that escaped circulation? Most of the time, the answer will be no, but sometimes, just sometimes, you might find something special. If you do come across a 2007 penny that looks unusual, the smartest move is to examine it closely. Look at the details, the edges, the lettering. Compare it with a normal coin. If something feels different, it might be worth having it evaluated by a professional grading service. That small step could turn curiosity into real value. There's also a deeper story behind these coins. Each penny carries a piece of history, representing a moment in time, a year in production, a snapshot of craftsmanship. Even a common 2007 penny is part of a larger narrative, connecting millions of people through something as simple as currency. And that's where the real magic lies, not just in the potential money, but in the idea that something so small can hold so much meaning. A coin that passes through countless hands could one day end up being carefully examined, appreciated, and even treasured by someone who sees its hidden worth. So the next time you find a penny, especially a 2007 one, don't ignore it. Don't toss it aside without a second thought. Take a closer look. Because while most will remain ordinary, a few might carry that spark of rarity that turns them into something far more valuable. In the end, it's not about becoming a billionaire overnight. It's about awareness, curiosity, and the thrill of possibility. Because sometimes, the smallest things in life carry the biggest surprises, and your next discovery might already be waiting quietly in your pocket.